Welcome to Between Seasons, a podcast for leaders in transition of what was and what is next. Joining me again today is Dr. Rotimi, who is the visionary, the author, and an entrepreneur, as well as a minister, and also the creator of the framework that we're going to be looking through today. With that, Dr. Rotimi, I welcome you back to the podcast.
Thank you, Marvell.
Absolutely. So how are you feeling on this episode today?
Great.
Absolutely.
I was excited.
Very good. So very good. So today we're going to be looking at the topic that we're going to be covering is what you're good at is not always what pays. And let's start with something that I think a lot of people listening have felt, but have never had words for. Let's say, for example, you've worked hard, right? And you've spent years building an expertise, and yet you see opportunities coming, but those opportunities are not actually working towards your way because you're like, I deserve it, but it seems to be slipping by. So what's actually going on for such people who are facing this outcome right now? They have the expertise, they have the years of experience, but the opportunities and the pay that they think they should be getting is not coming to them.
Thank you, Marvell. I think as an overview, we're looking at the framework. We'll be looking at the domains. Mm-hmm. And the number one domain is skill. And skill being part of our experience, something we worked hard to build over time. Mm-hmm. And then you do that. You just want to earn the respect of people to understand what you have gone through, even to have that expertise. But it is one thing to have an expertise or developed a skill. It is another thing to be able to communicate it appropriately to the market or the would-be employer. Mm-hmm. So there are two different things. You could have a scenario of someone who had very good skills in time of what you have developed over time. Then when it comes to you looking for opportunity, to be able to see someone to pay for the skill, the flip side of skill is how you communicate your skill to your would-be payer, somebody that is going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So somebody might develop a skill, but do not have the skill to communicate the skill. That is where the gap is. Mm-hmm. So if you have the skill, you must understand what the market is looking for. Now you describe or present or articulate your skill in such a way that at the receiving end, which is the would-be employer, will be able to understand the value. So you look at it from the point of view of either the expertise or the skill that you have spent time over time to develop, or the value that such skill can create. Mm-hmm. So markets don't pay for expertise. Mm-hmm. It pays for value.
Okay. Remaining on that point, so you've used the example of two, in one of our previous conversations, used the example of two marketing professionals with identical backgrounds, right? They have the same number of years in that background, but yet one walks away with a greater pay, greater commission, while one is not even recognized. They have the same background. They have the same years that they've put in, but one is being rewarded and the other one is being ignored. They're both sending out their resumes. One is being sought after, opportunity. People are giving them offers, and their money that they're even getting is beyond what they were asking for. And the other one is like, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? How can you help a person that is going through that?
Basically, markets pay for the problem you solve. Market is not interested in your history. It's not interested in your expertise. Employer has a problem that they're looking for a solution to. And then they're looking for someone to solve that so that they'll be able to make that part of their own performance. So when you solve a problem, what you do is you help the organization enhance their own performance and value. And that is what they're looking for. So nobody's interested in the skill that you embraced, that you loved. that you are putting, nobody's interested in that. But they have a problem. They want to solve a problem, and they need someone to solve that problem. So let's look at those. Let's just zoom in into those two scenarios. So there could be different scenarios, different situations. Perhaps the employee A has the same skill with employee B. And like I said before, it is one thing to have skill or expertise. It is completely another thing to be able to communicate that. Let's say, for example, if you're a very good data analysis, it is one thing for you to be able to analyze data or collect data, analyze it, draw inferences. But it's another skill entirely for you to sit with the board and explain the data to them. What they are looking for is that when you have data, the board or the executive would like to use the data to make decisions. So if you are good at analyzing data, but you cannot explain it or communicate it, draw inferences and things that will help them to make decisions, that will help them to grow, they won't know. Probably people won't even know the assumptions. They won't even know the intrigues of those things you went through to bring about the data. So communicating value, creating value and communicating value can be a lot of difference. It can make a lot of difference. So the key thing is creating value, communicating value. So it might be the A is able to create value but couldn't articulate or communicate. But B would create value, then articulate value. So there will be gap.
So that is not discouraging expertise. You still should have the expertise. It's just you have to understand how to market yourself in the field that you're about to go into. Whereas, let's say, employee A, the only thing that he knows how to do is just describing his resume, describing the history. Oh, I've been here. I've done this in the past. And that's basically what I've done up till now, where employee B is going, okay, if I come into your market or if I come into your department, these are the differences that I'm going to be able to make, because in the previous company, I was able to change this. I was able to upgrade this. I was able to go from this to that. And this is the difference that my action, this is the value I've been able to bring. This is the value I'm able to bring into this new department. Am I getting that right?
Well, it's neither here nor there.
Okay.
We assume that the two employees, they have the same skill set.
Yeah, same background.
So let's say skill set, not really background.
Okay.
Maybe the same experience, the same exposures, the same certification. They can literally do the same thing on the same pedestal. They can do the same thing. They have the skill and competence to do the same thing. So the question you were trying to ask is, what happens about the dilemma of competence, expertise? Now, people spend time to develop expertise and they are not paid well for the expertise they develop. So what I was trying to say is, yes, because developing expertise is not easy. You acquire expertise over time. Investments in learning, investment in certification, hands-on experience, on-the-job learning, mistakes, error, failure, and things like that. So you accumulate experience over time. And in an ideal world, you will think that the deeper your knowledge in this place, the more the pay you attract, because you are very good at your craft.
Yeah.
That's key thing. But what we're trying to say, in today's world, there's something that is very critical. Today's world is driven by value. Things change fast. The things that the market valued last year is not what the market valued this year. For example, a lot of skills that people had acquired over time could be done by machines today. So you want to keep yourself at the same pace with those development. But that is one side of the story. The key thing is this: when you present yourself or your resume, your expertise, whatever you have that you hold dear, is of no concern to employer. Employer, their position is that you are coming from somewhere. That is what you are describing. I'm coming from where this is what I've done. This is what I've done. This is the experience I had. But your employer is going somewhere. They are looking for someone that could help them to get them to where they are going. They're not interested in where you're coming from. Only when you can show them that where you are coming from is relevant to where they are going. So we're able to connect that gap or plug that gap. That's what makes the difference. So if you have potential employee A and B, and A is able to understand, so the key thing is that you're able to understand what are the pain points, what are the needs, where is the employer, the potential employer, where are they going? And try to bring where you are coming from and the value you have created in the past in alignment with where they are going and show that this is what I've done, being specific. Now, let me give you an example. Now, if you have a salesperson that works in an industry, particularly in transport industry, one thing that is peculiar with transport industry generically is high turnover because it's labor intensive. Now, if you have different kind of skills, how to train people, training, policy interpretation, any other thing. But if someone that has the same skill can say, I will help you reduce your turnover rate from 40%, or I helped an organization to reduce their turnover rate, a logistic organization to reduce their turnover rate from 50% to 15%. So what you're looking for is that when you are communicating value, which part of the value you communicated attracts follow-up questions.
I see.
That attracts attention. I helped so company to reduce their turnover rate from 45%, for example, to 15%. Okay, somebody will ask you, how did you do that? That is specific. And that is a pain point for any organization in logistic industry, high turnover.
I see.
And you have the same thing in different kind of industry.
So then let's go to employee A. How do we then help employee A realize that their specialization is becoming a trap? Like, what are the signs that their expertise is actually limiting them rather than protecting them?
And no, it's not limiting. It's not like a trap.
Okay.
What it is that you need another skill to augment it.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you need another skill because we're starting on the point that they have the same skill set at the same level.
Right.
Meaning potentially they can solve the same problem with the same level of expertise. So they have the same proficiency. So now the point is, are you able to understand where your potential employer going? What are the pain points? What do they want to achieve? And what is limiting them from achieving those? How do I link my current expertise, proficiency, to solve the problem they have? That is what market is interested in. That could entail a lot of specific skills that you add. But they are not impressed by those things that you've done, your certification, this, that. Nobody in the current market today, nobody is interested in that.
Okay.
People have problem, and the key thing in the market today is because of rate of change in technological space, the process of doing things is changing every 90 days. It used to be like 3 years, 6 years, 5 years. But today, processes are being changed. As you wake up every day, apps, softwares, different kind of support mechanism are being introduced into the market. So the way you do things last year may be irrelevant next year. And only people who follow those trends and are able, not only do that, not acquisition of those skills. How are you able to link where you are coming from to where your would-be employer is going? And that is the key thing. So, and that rests on your ability to articulate your argument. Okay. To present. So what do you need to change? The first thing is that you need to look at the verbiage description of how you describe your experience. Like, for example, you can say, I have marketing experience. I can use social software. I can use Salesforce. I can use any software. I've been using that for the past 10 years. And that's the way you present it. That is your story. Essentially, a resume is history, is your past, is your story. So that's history. I've had so number of experience in this space for so number of years. But someone is saying, I will help you reach out to demographies that your current methodology is not reaching. They say, how? And I say, by introducing digital marketing or by bringing AI into marketing system. Oh, somebody will ask you a question, follow-up question. If you describe something and there is no follow-up question, you have bumped it. So, but where people have that follow-up question, and the problem is, many times, the skills or the expertise that potential customer, potential employer values, they are probably the ones we don't value.
Really? How so? Sorry, go ahead, Asha. Sorry to cut you. How so?
Also, yeah, exactly. Now, there's some things that they are innate. They're just part of you. You just enjoy doing them. Like you offer people advice. Like you mentor people. Like you train people. It's not part of your certification. But it's you. And maybe that is what helps you to get result. Because people want to collaborate with you. You are easy to work with. So you can lead. You can articulate your vision. You can describe things. And that excites people and creates enthusiasm in people to work. And that helps you. Because that is not part of your degree. It's not part of your certification. You might look down on it, but it enhances your degree and your proficiency. When you get to environment, it helps you to solve problem.
Sorry, not to cut you off, sir.
Yeah.
Because not everybody, how do I recognize that within myself? Because you said most of us tend to focus on things that, oh, I'm really good at this. And this is something that people have, maybe not people have said, but you hold it so dearly because you're like, oh, I've been a marketer for this many years or But how do you recognize undervalued skill sets that you have? Because you can't just one day wake up and be like, oh, I'm good at this without somebody like, right? How do you go about recognizing that?
You start from the problem.
Okay.
Now, if you are targeting to have a high-paying job or high compensation job, you start from the problem.
Okay.
So, for example, if I'm targeting a company where I know my proficiency will be of value, so the first thing I will have to do, I will look at the job description very clearly. Might not give you the details. I will look at the job description. I want to identify their pain point. Then you go to their website. You try to see the projection. Where are they coming from? Where are they going? You can see that on their website. You can look at their website. You look at their annual general meetings. Okay. You see the document. And that will give you an insight, the project they are looking at. It will give you an insight areas where they have problems. For example, you have a company, maybe they have high turnover, and that could be impacting their labor cost.
Okay.
So you identify those. Now, when they are bringing you to this, in a unit or department where they need certain skill, you want to know their specific pain, the problem. That's the starting point. When you understand the pain, the next thing is that to look at your own repository of resources. Which of my skill matches their problems?
Okay.
So, because sometimes it's not like skill or people being able to do something. Sometimes when organizations project their visions, the problem is that the workers maybe do not understand it, or they fail to take ownership, or they don't really feel like they're part of the system or they're part of the goal. And you can just see someone whose skill is to communicate. If you can communicate effectively, and then that could be the differentiating factor. That is in addition to what you have. So once you understand the problem, then you come back to yourself and look at your skill set and see this one is not the most impressive skills often that people pay for. You will need those impressive skills, but the one that will give you access, that the unique, that differentiate you, unique skill set that differentiate you from other people. Probably you being able to research and identify their pain points before you jump into an interview.
I see. So that leads me to this question then. So the skills that, because most people, like as I was mentioning, like we tend to focus on the skills that we feel is most important to us, that we treat it like our own little baby. But then when you go out in the market, then you realize the market doesn't really care about the skill set at all to the level that I thought it would. And that's a hard truth to sit with, right? Especially if you've gone to school for it, you've got some certification, you spent years on it. So what does that feel like for when they first realize this, and what should they do at that point? They're like, okay, I've spent many years crafting this, honing this. I feel like I'm a master. And I went out to the market and the market said, sorry, I don't have a position for you.
Nobody's impressed.
Yeah.
Nobody's impressed. Whatever skill you have, millions of people do have the same skill. It's just like when you do business. The key thing is your unique proposition. Nobody's impressed about your skill. See it this way. Your skill is an asset. Like aeroplane is an asset to an airline. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
But if the service you get in the plane is wishy-washy, the plane is the same thing. Boeing, Airbus, it's the same thing for everybody. That's what your skill is like. But people want to see what's the entertainment in, like, what's the service like for the people inside. So those unique humane experience determines who wins. So if you ask you that you're impressed with what you have, I have this degree, I have that degree, good for you. Where you are going, your potential employer has a problem. They need a solution.
I see.
They don't need your degree.
I see.
So the thing they want to determine is that, are you able to move us forward with your skills? And if you have a very good skill and you are very difficult to work with, if you have very good skills and you can't communicate to the people that are working with you, if you have very good skill and you are not patient, if you have very good skill and you cannot relate with the executive, any skill is easily replaceable.
I see.
Until we are able to begin to understand skills from the point of view of value, that you are creating value, helping your potential or your will-be employer to take them from one point to another point. That's how it works. So if you understand that, you need to do some extra work. You can't just go, okay, I have this degree, I can do this, I can do that. That's your past. Nobody's impressed with that. You need to really map your skill with the need of your potential. And the key thing is that the potential skill might be there, the skill set is there, the proficiency is there, but you must be able to articulate in terms of explaining those skills to them. So they will understand that, okay, this guy is coming to solve a problem. And the point is, every well-organized organization, they will have their method of measuring your performance. So they will, whatever you promise side by side with what you deliver. And then that will determine whether the value you promise is the value you deliver.
Now, in one of our conversation off camera, you had introduced me to the concept, skills leverage map. So if you can help us walk through that, not the technical process, but why it works. Why does mapping change how people see themselves?
Like, skill is a leverage. For example, if you had a degree, you have a training and a certain, maybe software or machines or equipment or anything. It is a leverage, but you need to understand that it's not only you that has it. That's number one. So The process is very simple.
Okay.
It's for you to take a stock of all the skills that you have, all the skill set you have, ensure that you have a high level of awareness of those skills. Oh, I can do this. I can do that. But the point I was trying to make is that for every skill, we can break them into hard and soft skills.
Okay.
So the hard skill is the one you went to school, hands-on, training, certification, and things like that. The soft one that is spot touch, relationship, communication, patience, and those attitudinal things that helps you to convey or transmit value. So if you have that, if you know the bouquet of your skills, then mapping is you begin to look for opportunities that needs those skills. And not just throwing your resume everywhere, asking people for job everywhere. What you do is you look for people, places that needs your expertise, your proficiency. So that is mapping. So the first thing you want to look at is that you want to bring all your skills together. Could be the hard skill, the soft skill, people skill, communication skill, hands-on skill, things like that, tacit, and explicit skills. Now, when you bring all together, you now begin to say, okay, what differentiates me? Some people is you have very good skill, but they quit easily. Some people, the add-on is just resilience. They don't quit. So when you look at, okay, in this scenario, in this organization, what exactly can make me move them forward? Like the example I gave earlier on, reducing the turnover rate. You know, when you reduce turnover, do you know what that means? You reduce every time you engage an employee. There's a cost for the engagement. You advertise, you interview, you train, you onboard. Then when they join, they're rookies. They will make mistakes. That comes at the cost. Then over time, then you go back to the cycle. So the cost accumulates over time. That only, if a very big organization can impact your results. So if I can help me, like for example, if you say, okay, I help organization like yours retain employees for minimum of 5 years. Somebody will ask a question in a place where on the average is 1 year. So that's the value. In that case, when you are helping them to do inadvertently, you are not helping them to retain. You are helping them to reduce the costs, the labor cost. Ultimately, you are helping them to be profitable. But it won't look like that at the beginning. But when you help an organization that only retain people for 6 months, 1 year, to retain people for 5 years minimum, you help them to become profitable. In that, somebody will listen to you. And you are like, so the skill set you have, if you say, I can help train people, I can help do this, do that, but in specific term, I will help you retain employee on the average for 5 years. Somebody's going to listen. If you are in an industry where on the average, they hardly do 1 year. So you have them make a lot of savings and then help them to be more profitable. And that will affect quite a lot of things. When you are profitable, the rate at which you borrow from bank will be cheaper. When you are profitable, you become attractive to investors. When you are profitable, see where we're coming from. An HR person is helping you to retain people. Then you connect it to cost. You connect it to profitability. You connect to the cost of borrowing from the bank. Remember, the first cost we are looking at was the cost of recruiting, training, damages, or whatever problem mistakes they will make because they're rookies.
Yeah.
Then all those, then you have the cost, the loyalty of people that are working with you. So they can train other people that comes in and it helps you to grow faster. So that value, you're solving a problem that solves another problem, that solves another problem. you won't stay long in the market.
Because as an employer, I can just see me sitting there, and this person is describing their service like that. My vision is going far. I'm like, okay, they're solving this problem, just as you're describing. They're solving this problem. Oh, now I can make this move. Oh, now I can invest in this. Now I can expand in this area. Now this person's like, okay, what number do you want me to give you for you to stay here, right?
That's the point. Now, for example, if you say, like in my industry, which is logistics, one of the major issue is conversion. When we come to sales, is the rate of conversion. Now you can spend a lot of money. Naturally, we spend a lot of money for marketing.
Yeah.
So, but the only thing that the marketing will do for you is to bring lead to your doorstep. No more. So once the lead got to your doorstep, the marketing cannot do anything more than that. We can spend 1 billion. The onus is on you now to go inside and convert. So we are converting at 10%, 15%. You're still in a bad shape. So if somebody comes in and okay, we help you to convert your lead, minimum 40%. You listen. It's quite difficult. Okay, I'm a good salesperson. I have no. It's just, this is the pain point. And what I'm saying is that you could research those and know those specific pain point and align the communication of your resume to that. So I can solve this problem, and then you articulate, this is how I'm going to solve this problem, because of the skill you have. But you won't even dwell on those skills. Nobody's impressed. The only thing that I'm thinking of is that who helps me increase my conversion rate, period. I don't care whether you have a fourth degree or third degree. It's useless. Increase the conversion rate. I want 50%. If you can do that, I don't care about your degree. I don't care where you worked before. If you can do that for me, how much do you want? Employers or the market pays for value, not what you are impressed with, your hard training, the degree you earned or anything. Nobody's impressed in today's world.
That's true. So even if you're saying, I went to Yale and stuff like that, like, okay, that's cool. What can you actually?
Potentially, I could be impressed. Well, there's potentially I could be, okay, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? That's how it's going to end. What do you bring to the table? As a project manager, I oversee total number of problems. No, I help organization complete project faster than schedule, saving 10% out of the cost. Employers will listen. Employer will listen. It's not day-to-day thing. I help you better your performance. I will use my own performance to help improve your own performance. Somebody's going to listen. So you have to align your values. So the description of your experience or expertise must be aligned using communication method and research with actual pain point of your be employer. When you say will be employer, in the case of somebody that is trying to look for higher paying job or high compensation job, the market is the employer. Those are the people you are trying to impress.
I see.
Yeah.
So you've described again in one of our conversations as off camera, you describe a 4-phase process, which some of you've already touched on. Inventory, meaning checking the skill sets that you have. Transferability, saying, okay, this is what I used to do in the past. This is how I can transfer it here. And this is how it's going to help you guys get to your next stage. Market demand, right? Yeah. And then leverage mapping. So if someone only had time to do one of those 4 phases this week, which one gives them the most immediate clarity?
It depends on where you are at.
I see.
So if you have already known the inventory of your skill, you know your skills, you document it.
Yeah.
Which ordinarily you should be aware of what you can do. That's it. But what we may not be aware of in some instances are some things that we do innately, naturally, that is not part of our formal training, but they are just part of us.
Now, if I may ask, sorry, sir, because going back to the inventory, because the question I had asked earlier, which is how does a person determine that innate ability? Let's say for some people, they're just natural communicators, but they don't know it. Honestly, there's some people, even if they do the inventory check, they just don't know how to know something that they don't know.
Yeah.
Like, should they ask somebody else to say, hey, what have you noticed about me that I do naturally that really stands out? Should they do that? Should they get a consulting? Should they come talk to you? Like, are you able to help somebody pinpoint that innate ability that they might not know?
Yes, we can in some area, but the key thing for innate ability is for you to pay attention. And one of the things you pay attention to is what do people come to you to do, to ask you to do for them?
I see.
What do you do for people? Those are the questions. What do you do for people? And always they come back to say, oh, thank you. Okay. What do you do for people? And people will say, I was having a conversation with a friend recently and they said, a lot of people, I've seen that with a lot of people in my life, that when people tell me a story, I re-describe the story and they say, oh, I've never seen it that way before. And they act. So the way you view things might be unique from the way other people see them. And so what are those things that when you do for people, they come back to you and say, thank you. Oh, thank you for this. Thank you for that. And you don't charge for it. You just do it because you were not formally trained for it. But your formal training has polished it. Because what training does, it opens our heart, our mind to have a wider view. That's what university does. That is what degree does. Then it helps us to understand complex things, to relate simple 1, 2, 3 things to more complex things, to solve bigger problems. Now, so things that people will always thank you for, ask you for, or things that you just do naturally. But I'll say this. Another thing pointer to it is that there's some things you do that you lose sense of time.
Yeah, I've heard that saying before.
Sense of time.
Yeah.
If some people, they read, they lose sense of time. Some people, they practice instrument, they lose sense of time. Some people, they sing, they lose sense of time. Some people, when they engage people in conversation, they lose sense of time.
What about sleeping?
But some other there's some other things you do, and in a very short while, you're bored.
Yeah.
On the side note, if you are doing a job, and when you resume 8 o'clock in the morning, by 9 o'clock, it's like you spend 5 hours. It's not your job. You're not called that for that job.
I see.
There's some people, when you enter 8 a.m., oh, it's 4 p.m. Have I had people that when they come in the morning, they are thinking of the next time they go for smoke break. They don't miss any smoke break. So you just know it's not natural. They don't have natural flavor. So you look at things you do that you lose sense of time. You do naturally to help people. Those are pointers to your innate natural skills that can enhance your hard skills in terms of delivery. So the key point between the two people that we're looking at, the employee A and employee B, is the acquisition, they are on the same pedestal. Probably delivery, they are almost the same pedestal. But what connects acquisition with delivery is communication. That is what puts your foot on the door, that makes the market to believe I want to pay for the value. And that is what makes the difference. If, like I've illustrated for you, how changing turnover will dovetail into retaining staff, reduce cost, improve profitability, improve performance, enable you to get cheaper borrowing from bank, make you attractive to investor. So when you give me what you can do, an employer can simulate, this is how much this guy is going to save me in a year. And if you can save me 10 million, why can't I pay you 1 million? You get, that's what the thinking is that if you can make me 10 million, why is it a problem for me to give you 10%? Why would I offer someone else that will help me, that will make me 2 million and I will pay 10%, 200? What am I left with? 1.8. But the 10 million with 1 million going out, I have 9 million. Which one would you go for?
Of course, the 10 million.
Value. In terms of value. So what you are looking for is that skill that you hold dear. What is the market telling you about it that you're not paying attention to? Oh, they are racist. Oh, this is just because of me. Oh, no. What is the market telling you? Market is the right gauge to tell you the value. Whatever the market say is a value, is your value, that's a value. The market say your value is minimum wage, that's a value. Don't get angry. Get back and enhance that. That's where it is.
I see. So for the person then listening to this right now who's been applying for roles, not getting traction and generally starting to doubt themselves, what's the one mindset shift that changes everything? One thing is communication that you mentioned. They should be able to communicate value, but what's another thing that you can tell that can help change the situation?
I guess the starting point is the understanding that what the market or employers are looking for is value.
It's key.
Is value. There need to be a thinking shift to understand that your resume is your history. Nobody is interested in your history. The pathway may be tough. You've gone through a lot to acquire skills, to accomplish the feat. You may be impressed, but what concerns a business organization at the moment? I have this problem. I'm looking for someone that would help me solve this problem so I can move forward. That's what. So seeing your resume as simple an input into communicating your value is the starting point. You view what you can do from the lens or through the lens of the value that the market is looking for, not the value you think you are impressed with. It is the value that the market is looking for. So when you understand that, the next step is that you see everything from the point of view of the market. So you research from the market. You research from the market. And where do you get that? The first point of call is that you look at job description. They will provide you a list, which is not exhaustive. Then you go further, you go to their website, you look at whatever you can glean, what they are doing or what they are proposing to do. You want to understand why are they replacing, why was that vacancy? Why are they replacing replacing someone in that? Are they growing? Is it that somebody is not performing at that? Then if you look at the annual general meeting documents, you'll be able to see where they're coming from, where they're going. You'll be able to see the trend. That typically is always, they provide like 4-5 years trend analysis. So you'll be able to see that. So when you understand those, then again, when you prepare using that, you must prepare your questions. So when you are asking questions, you want to ask them question about what does value mean to you? Not what does value mean to me.
I see.
That is where a lot of people make the mistake. What does the value mean to me? So mean to me that I've acquired this certification, I've had this degree, I've done this before, I have value. But how relevant are those value to the would-be employer? And that relevance will be determined by them, not you.
Not you. I see. Well, Dr. Atimi, that is all the time and questions that I have for you today. I am grateful for your insight. I've learned quite a lot myself.
Yeah.
And one of the takeaways is don't make it too personal. Don't make it emotional. Something that Mr. Rotimi always tells me is don't make decisions based off emotions. You have to make decisions off facts, off data, and what's actually accurate. So, and one of the things when it comes to your skill set, you might be holding the skill that you currently have to heart, thinking, "Oh, I've spent so many years in this position, this department, and I think I'm the best at this." That's great. I mean, that's positive thinking, and it's a good thing to have. But when it goes to the market, and don't be rudely awakened or be shocked when the thing that you're holding so dear, the skill set that you're holding so dear, the market is like, we don't care about that, right? As he said, employers are looking for, how can you solve the problem that I have? This is where I'm going. This is the projection where the company needs to be. Can you help us get there, or are you going to come in here and try to make it about you? What you think about you is great, but what the business needs, what the market needs is something completely different. So one of the things is, one, learn to communicate your skill set into where they want to go. That's the biggest thing. It's like, okay, in the past position that I did, I helped the company resolve this. I helped the company move to this. I helped the company reach to this goal. And for your company, this is what I'm going to do. And this is how I'm going to go about doing that, right? That's communicating value, and that's helping them see the vision being accomplished by you joining the team. So it's nothing personal. So I hope you've taken away something of value. I hope these words have encouraged you. I've helped you gain some form of insight, and you're going to take some of the frameworks that he described into your next application that you're going to send out, or into just your thinking concerning your skill set. We encourage you to come back for our next episode that will be coming out. And until then, we appreciate your time. Dr. Rotimi, thank you again for joining me. I look forward to our next episode together.
Always we're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.